Hi guys, today we're going to learn another concept of grammar. We're going to understand the positions of adverbs. Why is it adverb position one? Because we're just covering one part of it about the position of adverbs. Okay, so let's start with it. Let's first understand adverbs. Adverbs are words or phrases that will give you more information about the verbs and about the adjectives and also sometimes about the other adverbs. The word itself has the meaning ad and verb. Any word that describes your adjective is an adverb. Any word that describes your verbs, they are adjectives. Sorry, they are adverbs. All right. And also further it has to describe another adverb. Then also you'll use an adverb. Now, how do we know? How do we answer these questions? How do we find out if this particular word is an adverb or not? I'll give you an example first, then I'll give you with the question. I have a beautiful house. Very good. Now, how beautiful is the house? I have a very beautiful house. So that question, how beautiful, that I added to my adjective, gave me my adverb, very. So very is the adverb over here. Ram works in the office. How does he work? How? Ram works diligently in the office. So diligently is my adverb. It is describing my verb. Fine? In just these are adverbs. Now let's go on further to understand. Examples few. He walked quickly to the station. Adverb. Mostly adverbs end with L and Y. Mostly. So if you find any word that ends with an L and Y, please understand it's an adverb. Okay. I often play tennis. Often is an adverb. Very, much, often, rare, rarely. These are all adverbs. These are degrees of adverbs, but they are adverbs. Yes, very and much is an adverb, but please do not combine them together very much. It doesn't make sense. Okay. They haven't been home recently. Adverb. He wore a bright yellow shirt. Now you need to understand how is bright an adverb. He wore a short. Short is a noun. He wore a yellow short. Yellow is describing my short. So yellow is my adjective. Now I need to know how yellow is the short. He wore a bright yellow short. So bright becomes my adverb because it is describing my adjective. Right? She answered very quickly. Now, if you look at it, there are two adverbs, but how? She answered quickly. Quickly is an adverb that is describing my verb answered. How did she answer? Quickly. Very good. How quickly did she answer? Very quickly. So very is also my adverb. This very is describing my quickly. Quickly adverb is describing my verb answered. Right? You can also use it this way. Fine. Now let's get down to the fact of understanding the three different positions of how we can place our our adverbs in a sentence. Let's go through it. Oh, yeah. Now, when we use adverbs that are used to modify a verb is it changes the uh, changes a verb. You can't say exactly change, but say like it kinds of it describes your verb. It tells you about your verb, some kind of extra information about your verb. So now the three different positions we can place it in. The first one, it will come before the subject. Please keep in mind and also notice not only the placement of the adverb, but also notice the punctuations that we use. Very important. Carefully, it's an adverb, comma. Peter opened the box. So My carefully is of course talking, and it is describing my verb open. How did he open the box? Carefully. So carefully is my adverb. Fine. But I want to, place it in the sentence. Carefully, comma, very important. Peter opened the box. Peter, why is the P capital? Because it is a proper noun, and proper nouns anywhere in the sentence will always come in capital. Please remember that, right? One second, guys. Right? Is this much is clear for you? Now let's look at the second placement. Here we can place the adverb before the main verb. Peter carefully opened the box. You cannot frame a sentence saying Peter opened carefully the box. Peter carefully opened the box. Yes, you can frame your sentence like this. The third position, it comes right in the end of the sentence. Okay, after your object. In a sentence, basic rules. You need a subject, you need a verb, you need an object. Right? But over here, it is going to come after the object. Peter opened the box carefully. You can also place it like this. All the three sentences are correct. It depends upon your understanding. It depends upon your comfort zone. It depends upon the style, the context, however you want to use it. Please frame your sentences, but in these three formats and in these three positions only. Fine. Now let's take a note for the other positions and how does it come. Okay. Now over here, when we are talking about second position adverbs and the verb to be, that means when we will use the verb to be, how is your adverb going to be positioned and placed? All right, let's look at that. When the verb to be is your main verb of the sentence, main verb as in he is an engineer, he is 20 years old, he is a doctor. Over here is a main verb, right? So when you have to be as a main verb of a sentence, normally we place the adverbs immediately after the verb. For example, let's look here. He's always on time. Always is an adverb, right? He is. Is the main verb. We have used a contraction. Guys, please use contractions. They really are helpful. They leave a very nice impression. But you also need to keep in mind, if you're having informal conversations or you're doing an informal writing, contractions are very good. In formal, semi-formal situations, we do not use contractions. If, say, for example, you're writing to a senior management, or framing an article, or you're writing a blog or a post which needs to be posted in a newspaper or something, you will not use contractions. Please stick to the full form then. That's also one rule. Coming back to adverbs again. He is always on time. Is the main verb. My adverb comes after that. Always. Then the rest of the sentence, you can keep it as it is. I was never happy at school. Was is my main verb. My adverb comes. Never happy at school. This is one placement you need to understand. Remember. Another one. Second position adverbs with auxiliaries and modals. That means now if you have auxiliaries are helping verbs, or if you have modals in sentences, modals are what? Can, could, will, would, may, might, should, ought to, have to, must. These are your modals. Now if you have modals in sentences, how will you place your adverb? So when we have modals, we will place our adverb after the first auxiliary, or that is the first helping verb, or after the modal, but before the main verb. So say my normal sentences, he can do the job. Can is my modal, do is my main verb. He can usually do the job, or he can always do the job. Over here is my adverb. usually, always. He can never do the job. Never. Adverb. So between my modal and my main verb will be the placement of the adverb. Alright. Let's look at something over here also. You can never predict. Can is a modal. Never is the adverb. Predict is my main verb. You can never predict what mood he is going to be in. I have is my helping verb. Sorry. Yeah, helping verb, model, correct. I have rarely seen him angry. You can use it this way. I will always love you. You can use it this way also. Okay. They shouldn't ever have done that. Have is your main verb. Done is just a participle. That's there. So that doesn't affect. So now if we are framing a negative sentence, if you notice it over here, should modal, not will come, then the adverb, then your main verb. But still it is between the modal and the main verb. So modal and not, adverb, and then your main verb. They shouldn't ever have done that. Fine. Now let's look at another one. How do we use adverbs in questions? Now in questions, adverbs will come between the subject and the main verb. How? Let's look at it. Have you. Have is a helping verb over here. You is the subject. So the subject, have you ever thought of changing job? Thought is your main verb. Alright. So my helping verb and subject come in the beginning. Then comes my adverb. Then comes my main verb and the rest of the sentence. Have you ever thought of changing job? Would you really like it if I visited? Would is my helping verb or modal, however you put it. Subject you, would you. Really is my adverb. Like is my main verb. Would you really like it if I visited? Alright. This is one rule. Now if we have to frame negative sentences. That means apart from the affirmatives, sometimes you have to add a not also. Then what do we do? The adverb will come after the auxiliary or the modal, before the main verb, the same rule that we did above. So auxiliary, not, adverb, main verb. I don't usually like going out on weeknights. So if you look over here, don't is do not. It's a contraction. Do not. My helping verb is do. Since I'm framing a negative sentence, not. Then I will add an adverb and then comes my main verb, like. This is my main verb, like. I don't usually like going out on weeknights. They won't, they will not always let you in after midnight. Let is the base form. Let is a main verb. They will not always let you in after midnight. Not difficult. Just remember the placements. That is all you guys have to focus on. Now, where we should not place an adverb. You will not place an adverb between the main verb and the object. So let's say my sentence is I played tennis. Okay, that's fine. I is my subject. My main verb is play. Now what is my object? What am I talking about? I play tennis. Tennis becomes my object. So I cannot say I play very well tennis. Sometimes most of us, make this mistake. Between the main verb and the object, we always place an adverb. No. I play tennis very well. I play very well tennis or I very well play tennis. Please, both of them are wrong. I very well play tennis is also wrong. I play very well tennis is also wrong. After the main verb and the object, In the end, you will add very well. I play tennis very well. Please keep this in mind. Remember it, not very difficult. Okay? Last. Another place where we will not place an adverb is between a verb and a gerund or infinitive. Infinitive is the base form of the verb. Gerund, you must have come across words such as dancing, swimming, cycling. They are not always continuous tense forms of verbs. They are not always present continuous tense or past continuous tense because it is ing. So, matlab it becomes a continuous tense. No. The ing words can also be gerunds. Gerunds are nouns. Now, I'll give you a very small example. You'll quickly understand what I mean by this. So, say for example, I frame one sentence which says, she is dancing in the hall. Hear my sentence very carefully, guys. She is dancing in the hall. Is dancing over here is my present continuous tense. Right now, at this point of time, this very minute, she is dancing in the hall. So it's a present continuous tense. The action is happening right now. Now there's another sentence. Dancing is good for health. I started my sentence with dancing is good for health. Over here, dancing is not a verb. It is not an action I am doing right now. Over here, dancing is playing the role of a noun. Dancing is a noun. Dancing is good for health. This is a gerund. Words that end in ing are not always verbs. They can also be gerunds. Okay. Very carefully you need to understand this. Now, if you have a verb and a gerund, you cannot place an adjective between them. Let's look at one example. For example, over here, he started. Cycling is not a verb, guys. Cycling is not a verb. It's a gerund. He started cycling in 2011. Okay. I cannot say he started professionally cycling in 2011. Wrong. He started cycling professionally in 2011. That means after my main verb, after my gerund, in the end I will add the adverb. These two placements you need to remember. Fine. You will not place an adverb between the main verb and the direct object of the sentence or the predicate of the sentence. Don't do that. Wrong. It will come in the end. After the main verb and the direct object. You will not place an adverb between the main verb and a gerund, or even if you have an infinitive form of verb, you cannot do that. It will come after the main verb and the gerund, or after the main verb and the infinitive in the end. Now let's look at an infinitive example. I'd like is my main verb. I'd like to sit. To sit over here is an infinitive form of the verb. I'd like to sit down again. It is in the end. Correct. I'd like again to sit down. Wrong. It is grammatically wrong. Between like, that is my main verb, and between my infinitive form of verb to sit, I cannot have an adverb. It will come in the end. Few rules of the placement of the adverbs. That's all you guys need to focus. That's all you guys need to remember, practice. You are on the right track. Below in the end, you will find over here a small worksheet sent to you guys. Please go through it. This is the worksheet over here. Yeah. Please go through it. Practice it. It is definitely going to help you. Apart from this, I would want you to use it in your speaking. I would want you to use it in your writing. All right. Please write as much as you can, practice as much as you can, speak as much as you can. This is definitely going to help you. The more you practice, the more you speak, write in different forms, implement it in your daily life conversation, definitely you will see an improvement and it will help you. Fine. I hope this concept is clear to you, the position of adverbs. I hope you've understood this very nicely. Thank you so much, guys. Happy learning.